Phoenix here. I told you we will rise from the ashes. One bad day on Tuesday. But the best thing about the Champions League is if you mess up on Tuesday, you have the ability to bounce back immediately on Wednesday. And that's exactly what we done to cap off an overall solid match day. Yeah, like I said, it's still within me that I got the 2 big matches incorrect, but you always have to keep striving for improvement, and that's exactly what we'll keep doing. But of course, a fantastic Wednesday. Let's get straight into it, and then of course we'll have the team of the week for match day 4, as well as the flops 11. Well, let's begin with the one that we got wrong, that the algorithm got wrong, which was what happened in Baku. I don't know how many people said Chelsea will not win this. Fair play to you if you did, because I felt like Chelsea have achieved a certain level of maturity where at least in these type of games they understand exactly how they should approach them. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth, because Chelsea did not deserve to win the game. It wasn't one of those games where Chelsea got robbed and it ended up a draw, and the opposing goalkeeper had a fantastic game. No, it yet again shows a Chelsea team with plenty of problems, because if we're going to be honest, Estevao to me was the only player that played good yesterday for Chelsea. He was exceptional. And Maresca, now I'm looking at you and I'm wondering, what does he exactly need to do to start in the Premier League? Because it seems like, okay, Neto and Garnacho are the wingers in the Premier League, and then Estevao can be used here and there in these type of games from the start. Estevao was Chelsea's best winger. I mean, he displayed that yesterday. What he was doing was unbelievable, and he put his team on his back at his age, which isn't, of course, normal. The rest of the team, where do we even begin? This guy, madre mia. Captain of Ajax somehow he was. I mean, that probably says more about the downfall of Ajax as well, but he's not a centre-back, there's no way you can be a centre-back with that build. Like, I mean, he's so weak, feeble. Yeah, if you're an opposing striker and you see that guy at the back, you can get at this guy, like, he's just embarrassing. And obviously he was the player at fault mostly for the disaster yesterday. But I look at also at the other players, man. I'm looking at Gittins. I'm like, what is that performance? I mean, Jesus. Okay, scored that goal against Wolves. Let's see if you can build upon it. He was atrocious. The guy has no confidence whatsoever, and it shouldn't be a settling in period either with Gittins. Come on, he's English. He should understand better. Had a good season at Dortmund, and to play at this level, come on, pathetic. And then the players off the bench. This guy here. Oh, my God. And then you have to question the ownership, because I said it, Nama. So you're telling me Osimhen was available. You're telling me Abramovich would have passed up on Osimhen to go and get Liam Delap and the rest of these freaking losers? Ah, come on. That's horrific. The fact that you needed Garnacho to come off the bench to rescue a point says everything about the downfall of Chelsea at the moment. And you can blame Maresca, sure, that them two never should have started together. But come on. I mean, the owners haven't really done him justice. I mean, the recruitment is questionable at best. And then the number 9, how many times we've said here that Chelsea need a striker and they haven't got one is alarming. But anyways, Villarreal, not a clue what the hell is going on there. I had them as my dark horses for the Champions League, performing exceptional in La Liga. And just like most La Liga teams, when it comes to the Champions League this year, they're falling apart. I mean, embarrassing defeat. Full credit to Galatasaray. Speaking about Osimhen, he's there getting hat-tricks. A little bit of controversy with the penalties. How much longer will Heitinga remain in charge of Ajax? I have no idea. But very happy to see Galatasaray pick up the 3 points. Then my Jose. Oh my. But what's Jose supposed to do? Like Benfica dominated the game. It was a very important game for both teams. Benfica needed the win. and they don't end up getting it. Rather, they end up losing, which now puts them in a very, very difficult position on 0 points. They're up against Ajax next. The two teams with no points. They have to win that. That's a must-win game. And then a miracle is needed. But yesterday, you cannot blame Jose. I mean, that was embarrassing from the players. Hit the crossbar twice. They need to be a lot more clinical. Then came, of course, the big one. The one we go almost absolutely spot on. I said Club Brugge 2, Barcelona 2. It finished 3-3. 3-3, 2-2. What's the difference? I told you there's no way Barcelona win that game. Club Brugge, they've gone completely under the radar. It's a top team, especially at home, that will cause problems to any team in the world. Of course, the focus is on Barcelona, but just want to highlight how good Bruges played yesterday, and just love the atmosphere and the structure at that club. It's a proper, well-run football club. Full credit to them. But Barcelona, so immediately defense yet again question Hansi Flick's tactics, and they question the high line. I'm not buying into that whatsoever. I don't for one simple second think that the high line is the problem. I've been on here before. People, they bring up the high line as for why they're struggling defensively, but they don't realize that the high line is the reason why the Barcelona can score the amount of goals they do. That is Hansi Flick's style. My question is this. How is it that Koundé, who last season had no problem playing in high lines, all of a sudden looks like he's a disaster? This is where I can't question the manager. How is it that since Joan Garcia has been injured, that the problems have arose with the high line? Because with Joan Garcia, you didn't have any problems. He was absolutely perfect. With Chesney, I mean, every shot is a goal. But and I can sympathize, because at the moment with Sommer, it's the same feeling at Inter. But when you have a goalkeeper where every shot it's a goal, it's going to be long. It's long. And he almost freaking messed it up at the end to give Bruges the 4-3, which, by the way, was a foul. I don't know how people are questioning that. And of course, there's a problem in the partnership. I've been on here very critical of Kobarsi. Araujo, Eric Garcia didn't fare much better. I think Christensen could be the glue whenever he's back, but can you rely on his fitness? There's no doubt Inigo Martinez's departure has put Barcelona in a bit of trouble at the back, because he was the leader. He was the guy that, even at his age, playing in that high line, looked the most comfortable. So they need to sort that out. And the one player that I'll target again, this piece of garbage right here, this guy, he provides no value to the team. And it's like they play with 10 men. I don't know what Hansi Flick sees in him. Bernal needs to be given minutes. I don't know what his physical status and condition is. But there's no way, for me, even a 60% Bernal is better than a Casado at 100%. I mean, he provides no value. Good to see Lamine Yamal almost back to his best. That was like reminiscent of his performance last season in the Champions League against another team in blue and black. Maybe obviously not quite that level, but he should have scored. He was running at defenders, so he's got his confidence back ever since he's broken up with Nicky Nicole. So well done, Lamine Yamal. I acknowledge what I'm seeing on the pitch. Fermin got a couple of assists. Rashford didn't turn up yesterday. And then again, the players that came off the bench did not make the difference. Danny almost as trash as ever. But I demand calmness for Barcelona fans, because I'm seeing so many takes at the moment. Rafinha is a bigger loss than envisioned, because even what he contributes without the ball, starting the press, they're missing that. Obviously, Pedri, we know, and Joan Garcia. Those are, I mean, fundamental players. And Christensen also is a big loss, because I believe he could be Barca's best centre-back in this system. But again, full credit to Bruges, 3-3. Then my Inter had a struggle, had a scare. There's no doubt about it. We underestimated the opponent. And when you do that in football, it's going to be long for you. Conceded an embarrassing goal. Should have scored more in the first half. But I was stunned at the approach overall. I expected Inter to to win this game comfortably, and certain players didn't turn up. I thought Esposito yesterday wasn't good. Frattesi, unfortunately, when he starts, he's invisible. Good to see Marcos Thuram coming back off the bench. He's been missing for some time now. But yeah, Kivo needs to make sure that he says the right things to motivate the players and get them ready. And also shout out to Bissek. I thought he was really good. And Carlos Augusto came up with the winning goal from outside the box. You need that, and that's a weapon Inter have used a lot that I'm liking. Like from outside the box, when you're facing teams who are parking the bus, you need players that are going to strike the ball from distance. Obviously, Çalhanoğlu does that ever so well, and it was Carlos Augusto yesterday that turned up. It is 12 points for Inter. The first goal we conceded, but that performance isn't good enough. I'll tell you what performance definitely was good enough. Wow. Arsenal fans get salty when I say they're the best team in England. Listen, at the moment, I probably put them second after Bayern Munich. I don't think people are quite realizing what City are doing. And I don't know why. I mean, for City, it doesn't make a difference. They can continue going under the radar. But this is the team playing the best football in England. Team playing some of the best football in the world. Just to put it into perspective, Dortmund don't get blitzed. Like under Kovac, they lose matches, but they don't get destroyed. They got destroyed yesterday by a City team that is just upping up the tempo, upping up the going through the gears, going through the motion, and Pep's using this basically almost three or builds up in a two, pushes the fullbacks extremely high, tucks in the other players, and then you have basically like an overload in the central areas that becomes impossible to deal with, and it unlocks spaces for, yesterday in particular, Phil Foden, who looked back to his very best. So I stand by what I said, and people have been questioning me. They call me a Manchester City fan, but I'm calling it like it is. And yeah, sure, they're reliant on Haaland, but this is not normal. They have coverage, the depth they have. Cherki again comes off the bench, immediate impact. They have players that are there now. Players are coming back. Watch out. This is a Manchester City, to me, back to their absolute best. Next up, we had some controversy here in this game. Big win for Atalanta at the end. So, Ederson, handball. It's, according to the rules, it's not a handball. I can hear De Zerbi's frustration because Marseille have got extremely unlucky. Because, of course, in the game against Real Madrid got a penalty that never was via, again, some BS handball. But that's Real Madrid, as always, in Europe. This one, for me, I don't think it was a handball. I don't think it's a penalty. And Samardžić goes on to score a fantastic goal to give Atalanta huge 3 points. And then Newcastle, as we expected, won a comfortable game against an athletic team missing many players. And they move up the table. So if we have a look at the table here, after Matchday 4, we have 3 English teams in the top 8, 4 English teams in the top 10, 5 English teams in the top 12. There's no doubt about it. The Premier League at the moment, I mean, it's clear of the other leagues. Nobody can deny that. Obviously, the money they've spent is helping, especially with the squad depth that they have. But I'm very happy even for teams like Newcastle who are performing better than I expected them to in the Champions League. Then, of course, Inter, Arsenal, Bayern on 12. Arsenal and Bayern play against each other next. For Inter, we needed the 12 points because up next we got 4 very tough fixtures. PSG have more points than I also expected them to have considering their fixture list. City on 10. And Real Madrid and Liverpool cap of the top 8. Then you look at Galatasaray. Wow. Really good stuff. Barca, Chelsea play against each other next. They should be fine. But then Karabakh, Paphos in the top 20. Remarkable. The teams that are in trouble. You're looking here. You're looking obviously Napoli, Juventus. You'd expect them at the very least to get in the top 24. At the moment, Napoli are just in, Juve out. And these 2 historic monumental clubs with 0 points, they play against each other next. And Villarreal, for me, the biggest disappointment. I mean, I can't believe they're only on 1 point. And they got Dortmund coming up next, which won't be easy. So, Still all to play for, of course, headed into matchday 5. This was my team of the week. Courtois, player of the week. Bradley, fantastic. Upa, Van de Ven. I went with Augusto just ahead of Dan Burn just because of the quality of the goal, but Dan Burn could have easily got it as well. I went with McAllister, Foden, Merino as my midfield three. I went Simeone here. I should have put Forbes here, to be honest, not Simeone, but I wanted to highlight Simeone for Atleti. I thought he was really good. Luis Diaz, despite the red card, gets in, and Osimhen with the hat-trick completes the team. The flops, Szczesny, disastrous, like I said. Kunde, I don't recognize. Hato, if I speak. Marquinhos and Huijsen, disastrous back four. Casado, like I mentioned, provides nothing. I went with McTominay just ahead of Bellingham. It could have been either, but McTominay for Napoli had a couple of chances which he couldn't take. Camavinga, vomit-worthy. Gittins gets in on the left just ahead of Barcola. Could have been either, but Gittins for me, atrocious player. And then the two up front are the two Real Madrid players. We can't hide away from that. I mean, two players who, again, on the biggest of occasions, did not turn up. That's all from the Phoenix. Looking forward to keeping this momentum ahead of the upcoming weekend, the final one before the international break. I know, boo, but it gives us, of course, ever more time to tweak the algorithm and continue improving. But let's attack the final weekend. I'll catch you guys with the spoilers vid tomorrow or absolute latest Saturday morning, but it should go live tomorrow. Have a good one. Phoenix out.